Beautiful souls. Welcome back to You Are Your Own Beloved. Today is a special day for me. January 13th is what I like to celebrate as my healing day. So let me explain a little bit about this special day. Was 5 years ago now? 2019. I just moved to Hawaii in 2018, right? So it was the year after. And I was just, scrolling through, I don't know, Amazon Prime or something, looking for a movie to watch. And I found this interesting movie that was based on a true story. I like to watch things that are inspirational and based on true stories where I actually feel like I get something from. So this was about a Chinese man who was a dancer from communist China and how he followed his dreams of coming to America and becoming this dancer. And I had no idea what it was going to be about, but I love dancing and I love anything that's based upon, people showing how they persevere and follow their heart and their dreams. So I'm watching this movie, and the main character's name is Lee. He's the dancer. Actually, he's like a I don't know what you call a man ballerina, but so that's what he was. And he was staying with an American who was hosting him, who was the choreographer of the ballet. And Lee didn't speak much English. He had this pocket dictionary that he carried around with him. And one night they were having dinner together, and Lee said to his friend, the American, said, these men on the street today called me something, and I didn't know what it meant. So I looked in my dictionary and it wasn't in there. And his friend said, okay, well, what did they call you? Or what did they say to you? And he said, they called me a chink. And you saw like a look of hurt briefly go over his friend's face, and then Lee asked him, what does that mean? And his friend paused for a moment and said, when you are on stage and it's dark and the curtains are closed, and then right before you're about to go on, the curtains part a little bit and a ray of light comes through the curtains. He said, that's a chink. And he said, they called you that because they saw the light in you. And I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe I'm just hearing this message. And I just started crying, like bawling my eyes out. And just to give you a little background of me, so not really something that I like to talk about, but here I am I'm coming out to the world on this channel, which is going to be about me sharing my life, my personal experiences, and how I've been able to transform and transmute the painful experiences to healing so I can help you and help others. And so this is like my whole divine life purpose, right? So anyway, I don't really particularly like to talk about my life. That's why I wrote this book, Fearless Freedom, Becoming Soulfire. This is the Sunflower one. And the second one is You Are Your Own Beloved. This is the continuation. And it's in detail, most about what I've been through in my life, and how I've changed. And but anyway, I thought this was important to share. And so you could just feel, my heart, and just feel, gosh, and every time I make a video, I get really emotional, and I really don't want to, but I can't help it, so I just have to continue, right? I have to I know it's part of it. So anyway, so here I am, and I'm always going to be open and authentic with you, so you're not going to get anything that's edited. I'm just going to make a video and be in the moment and share with you exactly what I'm feeling and going through, because I think this is important. So I was, how I came into the world was kind of an unusual way. I was born in a prison, and my biological mother was, and I didn't find this out until later in life when, later in life, till I was about 18. My biological mother was a prostitute and a heroin addict, and she was in jail when I was born, and she couldn't take care of me, so she gave me up for adoption. And I was in the Guardian Angel home in Brooklyn as an orphan until I was 4.5. Actually, I lived with a foster family, which I don't really remember too well. I just have like a couple of memories. And when I tried to actually contact the adoption agency, they wouldn't give me that information, because I actually wanted to go back to them as an adult to say thank you and like meet them and say thank you for taking care of me. But anyway, they wouldn't give out that information. So anyway, I was adopted at about 4.5 years old, and I was moved from Brooklyn to Long Island, to the suburbs, and the family that adopted me were Irish, German, English. They were all blonde hair, blue eyes, and very fair skin. And it was, there was 2 older brothers already, 2 boys, and so I kind of stood out, And back then, when I was adopted in 1973, that wasn't really very popular, and I was brought out to the suburbs into a middle to upper white neighborhood. This was primarily Caucasian, and the school that I went to, I was the only, there was me and one other Asian kid in the whole school, or mixed nationality, and 1 black kid, and that was it. So that's where I grew up, and I got teased and picked on all the time. And I remember going to Brookhaven Day Camp, and I was just tormented by this boy, and he would always just yell at me and call me Jap over and over again, and I just didn't understand. And I remember like hiding behind a big tree and just crying and just being so traumatized. I hated camp. And my oldest brother, he used to tease me too, and he used to call me Chink all the time until I went crying up to my room. And I was always teased and picked on through high school, through college, even as an adult, just growing up in like white suburban Long Island. It's just, for some reason, like people always made fun of my eyes and liked to call me Chink. Mostly Chink. I mean, sometimes I heard Jap, but it was mostly Chink. And that word to me was like a knife through my heart. It made me feel so much shame. Just so much shame. And I had no self-esteem and no self-worth when I was growing up at all. And I just felt ashamed and confused and lost. And I'm just giving you an overview because there's a lot to what I'm speaking about, but you could read details in my book. So anyway, that word, it just carried all of this pain. And until I was, in my late 40s, like I moved to Hawaii because that was one of my dreams. And that first time I visited Hawaii was back, I had to be like around 30 years old, and my daughter was around 7. And my brother, the second brother, the middle brother, he was stationed in the Army in Oahu, so I came to visit him. And I just fell in love with Hawaii, and it was the first place in my entire life that I felt like I fit in. And I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. People thought I was Hawaiian. They thought I was a local. And every time I went shopping, they would say, I'm going to give you the resident price or the local price. Like, I just felt so Like nobody made fun of me here, and I felt like I fit in. I was like, these are my people. I'm supposed to be on this island. I'm on the wrong island. And I said, one day I'm coming back. I'm gonna live here. And I did. You know, it took me like 17 years to get back, but I finally did in 2018, and I moved here and just made one of my dreams come true. And Hawaii to me is a place where my soul feels safe, where no one's gonna make fun of me. Nobody's gonna call me a chink or a jab or make fun of my eyes. I mean, it's just, I get actually treated the opposite way. People think because I'm dark skinned and I look Hawaiian, and I think I am part Hawaiian, that, you know, you get actually treated better, and it's, it's such a change for me. So that's one of the main reasons why I moved here. And so anyway, I wanted to share that with you today. I watched that movie on January 13th, 2019, and it was just such an amazing shift, and how healing can happen like that. Like, I think there's two ways of healing and changing, and one is like going through this process, which I'll talk about in another video, and the steps that I've kind of outlined that I take, or I've kind of done to go through the process of healing the layers. But then I also believe that sometimes you can get instantaneous healing from something like this. Like, I just happened to see this movie, and this beautiful exchange, just literally just like, it felt like all that shame and all that pain that I've been holding my whole life just left me. And it was so amazing. So to me, I believe that healing can happen in both ways. Someone can just come along and say something to you, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's just like an instant change in perception. And then there's also the longer way of healing. And both are important, and I think both play a role in your life, and it really depends on so many different factors. So happy healing to you, and I just wanted to share this this message, and Friday the 13th. So if this resonates with anyone, or if anyone feels like I've touched upon something in their life that they maybe want healing with, please leave a comment, or anyway, leave a comment and let me know what you think, or if you want to share some of your experiences where you have all of a sudden felt like an instant change, or an uplifting or release of something you've been carrying around your whole life, and how that happened. I would love to hear from you. So thank you for sharing this time with me and being a witness to my unfolding and my continuation of my journey here on earth. So thank you. The soul fire in me, I give to you. Aho. To learn more about my offerings, visit my website at igniteyoursoulfire.com. Please subscribe to my channel and comment below, my soul family. Thank you for being here on our precious planet Gaia at this time. Your light matters. You matter. You make a difference in the world by just being you. Ahuiho. Until our hearts meet again. You are loved.